Hey, what's up everybody? It's Thomas from College Info Geek, and you ever just wonder, how are you gonna get all the information of these crazy huge reading assignments in a freaking weekend? I wanna share a quote with you that I learned over the weekend while doing research for this video, and it goes like this. The mark of a successful college student is the mastery of knowing not only what to study, but also how to study it. And this applies to your readings as much as it applies to anything else in college. So in last week's video, I went over some strategies that you can use to figure out whether or not you actually need to do a reading assignment at all. Now in this video, I want to start focusing on how you should actually tackle the reading assignments that you do need to do. And I have three main goals that I want you to keep in mind here. Number one, you want to learn the right information from your readings. Obviously, you can't learn every single thing in the book, so you want to figure out what is important and get that into your brain. Number two, you want to retain that information for as long as you can and be able to use it later. And number three, you want to reduce your study time and the amount of time you have your nose stuck in the book. So to start improving in all of these areas, the first thing that I want you to think about is the why. Why are you doing this reading? Now, a lot of people would say you're reading to learn. And obviously, yes, that's the point of the education. But I think there's another more immediately practical reason that you're doing a reading, and that is how you're going to be assessed on that reading. Being a strategic reader means using different strategies for different reading purposes. And those purposes are defined by the assessments you're going to face in class, which lead back to your immediate goal of earning awesome grades. Now, most students tackle their reading assignments like zombies. They look at the reading assignment and they go, must run my eyes over X number of pages by tomorrow night. That's it. Don't be a reading zombie. Otherwise, your exams are going to turn into a chainsaw. Know what it is that your brain needs to pull out of the reading and focus on that. So here are 4 common reasons that you might do a textbook reading. Number 1, you're going to be facing down a multiple choice test. Number 2, you're going to have to do an essay, actually creating something from scratch in your own words. Number 3 is the evaluation of data in labs, which applies to more technical and scientific majors. And number 4 is the summarization of research for class presentations and reports. The type of assessment that you have to do will dictate what kind of information you need to pull out of your readings. For instance, if you're going to have to do a multiple choice test, then you're going to want to focus on the details of the reading assignments, taking smart, concise notes about all the little things in a class, and then turning those into questions that you can study rapid fire later on. But if you're in a class where you have to write essays, then thorough knowledge of the main ideas is more important, and you're going to want to focus more on summarization and making sure that you can communicate what you learned in your own words. So there's a tip from the video I did last week on figuring out whether or not you even need to do a reading assignment that applies perfectly here as well, and that is to gauge your classes. As the semester goes on, be mindful of what's in the syllabus and what your professor generally uses to assess you, and then apply that knowledge to your readings. Now, this will take practice, but as time goes on, you're going to find that this mindfulness really pays off in the time it saves you and the clarity it gives you when you're looking at your book. So once you've gauged those classes and figured out the type of information you want to pull from your reading, how do you actually go about doing that reading? Well, to start out, let me give you a universal tip that applies to any reading you do, and it's this. Don't read your textbooks like you read a newspaper. People who read the newspaper aren't reading to apply what they're learning. They're just reading to get the gist of the day's events. You're not reading for gists, you're reading for application. Also, don't expect that you're going to learn efficiently by just reading and rereading passages over and over again. The writer Virginia Vokes said that how often you read something is immaterial. How you read it is crucial. Think of a book like an art museum. You can walk through the Met in New York 10 times, look at all the paintings each time you go through, and still know next to nothing about any of the art there. You might know the general layout, where certain pieces are, but if I ask you for details, which artist created this painting? Where was this dog thing sculpted? You won't have a clue. Books are really the same. Passively running your eyes over the pages is like casually strolling through an art museum and not actually studying any of the pieces. It's actually worse because the brain is better at remembering emotionally evocative pictures and imagery than it is at remembering squiggly arbitrary lines on paper. So instead, try to read in the same way that you talk with a friend who challenges you intellectually. You listen eagerly, you contribute your own words to the conversation, and eventually both of you create information that comes together to make something new. This is called active reading, and it's crucial for being able to retain what you learn from your textbooks and be able to apply it later on. In my next video, I'm going to go over a framework of specific techniques that you can try out to start using active reading. But to round this video out, I want to leave you with a technique that you can use to create a small win in your studies. And here it is. Create 2 different habits for your textbook readings. The first one is going to focus on just getting you to read consistently. And the second one is going to focus on getting you to start using active reading instead of passive reading. So the first habit I think you should try out is reading daily. And this might mean planning ahead in advance what you're going to read for a certain week, and maybe even reading some outside material if you finish everything. But it's all about getting into the habit of reading every single day, making it a consistent effort. And for the second habit, try to write down a small amount of notes for each reading you do, or create a small summary for each reading. It doesn't have to be anything large, you just want to get into the habit of doing it and being more actively involved in your reading. Now, with both these habits, you can experiment with making them either input-based or output-based. Input-based habits have a fixed amount of effort that you have to put into them. So read for 15 minutes. That's only 15 minutes of effort and then you're done. On the flip side, output-based habits are based on making something concrete. So write 1 page of notes could be an output-based habit, and the amount of time and effort you need to put into it isn't fixed. Personally, I use both of these types of habits in my own reading. So for my actual reading habit, I use an input-based goal, read for 15 minutes every single day, and then once I've gotten into that, I usually read for longer and I start getting more engaged. And then I use an output-based goal, which is to write half a page of notes on what I'm reading to make sure that I'm actively learning. Whichever type you choose, it's also important to build a small reward into your habit. And getting good grades is a good reward, but it's something that's a little too far off to really count. So I would say find something else that rewards you for getting the reading done every single day. For me, that's ticking off a daily in HabitRPG, which I've made a little bit more valuable by creating a challenge in the College Info Geek Guild. And if you want to join that, you can go to the companion blog post for this video, which you'll find linked down in the description. Otherwise, you could do something else like watching an episode of your favorite show on Netflix, playing a video game, or something else fun. Just make sure that you're building this loop of, here's a cue to do my reading, I'm going to do the reading and take the notes, and then give myself a small reward to reinforce the positive feeling I get from doing that reading. So that's it for this video. If you want to get my tips on active reading, which will come in the next video, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and you'll get those right when they come out. Otherwise, I will see you in that next video. Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, then you can support me by giving it a like on YouTube or sharing it with a friend. If you want to get more videos just like this every single week on being a better college student, then click the subscribe button right there. If you missed the last video, a clip of it is playing right below there and you can click that to watch it. Also, you can get a summary and links to anything I mentioned in the video by going to the companion blog post, which you can find by clicking on the orange logo right there. Lastly, if you want to get a free chapter of my book when it comes out, then you can click that book and subscribe to the College Info Geek newsletter. You'll also get notified when new podcast episodes and blog posts come out every week. Lastly, if you have ideas for new videos or you just want to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter or leave a comment on this video. Thanks!